Here's a simple question. Are electric trucks ready to replace traditional trucks? To find out, we decided to take on an epic road trip by driving the Ford F-150 Lightning over 3,500 miles from Boulder, Colorado to the furthest place you can drive a vehicle in the U.S., and that is Dead Horse, Alaska. What makes this such an arduous journey is that we have to charge our way up the entire spine of North America in places, well, where there is virtually no charging. So sit back and relax and enjoy the journey, because we certainly did. In the last episode, we jokingly said the next time you'll see us, we'll be in Coldfoot, Alaska. And we didn't mean it, but we are still here because charging a truck that's all electric in a place that doesn't have any DC fast charging infrastructure is really problematic, and we ran into some massive problems last night. So we got in here about midnight. It's now 1 o'clock the next day, and luckily David saved the day, because while I went to bed in the hotel, you stayed up and watched the truck. And what happened, David?
Well, I was a little uncomfortable going to sleep because we were on a 30 amp welder. I think it was a welder.
Yeah.
So I sat in the seat for a little bit. This is like, midnight, after midnight.
That was a 30 amp dryer.
Yeah, 30 amp. And
you know what? Let's roll that video so you can see what happened last night. 70 amps, we have no adapter for it.
And you never know, because, I mean, that's not a dryer. That one's different than others that I've seen too, so.
When we figured out that we didn't have the right plug extension, I was shattered, but then thanks to the kind folks at Coldfoot, we figured out that in the shed there was actually a dryer outlet. So we took our extension and we hooked it up to the truck, and guess what? Most important question, how much juice are we getting out of that plug? How many amps? Let's see if it works. And we got
success!
We're charging. 100% at 2:16 p.m. Tuesday. And so you were sitting, and what happened?
Well, about 10 minutes later, the circuit popped, and so I had to go into the shop, look for the panel, figure out which breaker it was, flip the breaker back on, come back in, sit in the truck. 10 minutes later it popped. It did that 5 times, and I thought, it ain't gonna work. So they had another welder outlet that we didn't have a right adapter for. So I got creative.
All you electricians at this point, please fast forward 20 seconds. Good, because what David did was he took our 3-prong plug and ground it down to make it fit into an outlet that isn't designed for it. But you know, when you're in Alaska, you gotta make do. So now we're sitting at like 85%,
yeah.
13 hours later, and what we need is to try to make it all the way up to Dead Horse, which is about 240 miles on one charge. You can see we are charging at 37.6 amps, about 7.89 kilowatts, and that basically is like charging at home. And what's really frustrating is that we do have high voltage.
Roman, can't you read the sign?
Yes.
It's wet, it's high voltage, be careful out here.
I mean, we are by, a giant DC fuse box, right? Or what is that? That's probably like a transformer. And yet, all we can get is,
Yeah.
So David is like chomping at the bit, because in that hybrid, you'd be back in Fairbanks by now.
Yeah, we would.
Speaking of the hybrid, let's do this. Let's go take down the tent and show them our support vehicle. This is our support truck. It's also a Ford F-150, but it's not electric. It's, in fact, a hybrid with onboard power, and in an emergency, we can use it to charge the Lightning. Now, Cole spent the night, our videographer, up there in the roof nest, and I slept in this, I didn't sleep on that mattress. I would have been eaten by wolves. I actually spent the night inside, and it's not cheap here. It's basically a double wide trailer, and it costs about $250 a night. But now we got to take this tent down. Hey, David, you gonna help? So you figured out a cutting plan on how to do this, huh?
Well, yeah, it's not too difficult.
Okay.
It is a little tricky.
Okay.
You start by pull the back end down first.
Oh!
Oh, I got you, Roman.
Thanks, David.
And did that on purpose.
I figured at that point. So the other thing people might be wondering, David, is like how much would it cost to come up here and do it on gas, right? So gas is about $7 a gallon. So,
Yeah, that's interesting. Gasoline is more than diesel up
yeah,
there.
yeah. So let's go fill this guy up and see how much that's going to cost. So now we got a half a tank, but we're going to fill it up. Check out the prices. Regular, unleaded, $6.89, and ironically, diesel is $5.99. So this truck has a 30-gallon tank, which is great, and theoretically, it's got about 600 to 700 miles of range, so you could almost make it to Dead Horse and back to Fairbanks on 1.5 tanks, which is crazy. But because we're using it as a chase vehicle and emergency power backup for the Lightning, we want to make sure we have gas, because when we're charging off the truck, we're using about a gallon an hour while it's just idling to run the generator. It's pretty much a slow charge. It's kind of like charging off a home charger, and it only accepts up to 30 amps, so it's slow. There we go. $91 for 13 gallons. So a full tank would be about $200. Woo! It's expensive. So it depends what your time is worth. You could charge up here for free and take 14 hours, or you could pay, $200 and, mosey on down the road. Hey, Chad, so you're not only a cyclist, a biker, but you're also a journalist, right?
Yeah, moto journalist.
So you just came down from Dead Horse. Tell me, what's it like up there?
The road was great. On the way up, I mean, it's a highway.
Yeah.
It's made for trucking. So, I mean, in terms of being off-road, I mean, it's nice, it's graded until it gets wet.
And then it gets sticky and greasy.
It's greasy.
Yeah.
That's the real problem, and that's when people get hurt.
Why do motorcyclists want to drive up to Dead Horse? What's like the mystery of that
It's the
route?
end of the road.
Yeah?
It's the end of the road. It's as far north as you can ride.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's part of the America circuit. Tierra del Fuego.
Yep.
A lot of guys want to run to Ushuaia all the way up to Dead Horse. When it gets slimy out, you need the proper tires, you need the right bike, and more importantly, you need to know what to do with it. Because like they always say, it's 90% rider, 10% bike, and somebody that knows what they're doing can ride anything up here. But
True that.
if you're new, you need all the help you can get.
Well, thank you. Good
Thank
luck.
you, sir.
Yeah.
Pleasure to meet you.
Good. Pleasure to meet you. Now, if you guys recall, we didn't take the Alaskan Highway, but we cheated a little bit by taking a ferry from Bellingham, Washington, all the way up to Haines in Alaska. But to get to Fairbanks, you have to go through Canada. So from Haines, the videographer and our producer drove the truck through British Columbia, the Yukon Territory, all the way to Tok, and then eventually to Fairbanks. And this actually turned out to be one of the hardest parts of the entire journey. This trip would have been impossible without help from our friends at Flow Chargers. In fact, these guys are building out chargers in the most remote locations in North America, like here in Haines Junction, where we were able to charge up the Lightning to drive through Canada all the way to Fairbanks. Now keep in mind, they have an app, so if you're looking for chargers in some of the most remote locations, check out Flow Chargers. Now the boys ran into trouble almost immediately. Once they got past Haines Junction, where we had the last Flow fast charger, it was all about campsites. Now the first campsite they got to, they found a 30 amp plug, which is good, but we only had an adapter for 240 volt, and this was 125 volt. So this was really kind of make or break time. So in fact, this is the first time we had to use the hybrid truck to charge the Lightning. We charged it all night, and at the end of the day, they ended up with about 80% of charge, or 167 miles of range, and all that overnight charging used was about a quarter tank of the hybrid's fuel. You know, driving an electric truck all the way to the highest point in the United States is daunting because all you do is charge, and I mean a lot, like 17 hours, drive, sleep, rinse, repeat. But to get the truck up here to Alaska, we actually had to drive through Canada, and we met this really cool guy who let us charge the truck off of his electric school bus charger. That's right, electric school bus charger. Check it out.
My name is Stretch Blackard. I live in Tok, Alaska, and this is our electric school bus. So this bus was purchased with the grant, the EPA grant, through Alaska Energy Authority. This is the power steering motor. It runs a power steering pump. It's got 3 AC motors, the power steering pump, the drive motor, and the AC compressor motor for running the brakes, suspension, and the gearbox. So it uses the standard radiator for a diesel. And then the rest of the chassis is kind of the same as the diesel bus, minus the batteries and the electric components. And you were saying that Lightning weighed 7,000 pounds. This weighs 19,000 pounds, and it is about 2,000 pounds heavier than the diesel bus. So these are our 12-volt batteries because it's taken the bigger batteries and it has the whole 12-volt system for all the lights and everything else that it runs. And then we have our main disconnect here. We'll turn that on, and then we can go for a ride. I like to do things that are a little different. One of the biggest downfalls of batteries is cold weather, and everybody says you can't do electric vehicles in cold weather, and so I got a vehicle to try to see if we could. It costs more to run the bus, probably about 2/3 more on most months. That's before the high diesel prices. So even with the high diesel prices at over $6 a gallon, it's still cheaper to run a diesel bus over an electric bus, probably by half. And that's only because we have really high electric rates. If it was just for driver comfort and ease to drive and fun to drive, I would pick this. If I didn't have to look at the costs of running it. I like new technology, I like cool stuff, and so I'm doing it for that reason. These last couple winters, I've tried some different things to try to make it more energy efficient because we were losing so much in heat. The heaters for the bus are just like little electric boilers, and they're 100% out in the cold. So they're making 140-degree temperature water, and I needed to figure out how to stop that loss from being out in the cold weather. So I run a little foil belly pan under it, cover the front, and the first year I wrapped the batteries. And I didn't wrap the batteries this winter, but I did last winter, and I think it made a difference with heat loss, because it heats up everything, and then that heat is just pulled right off of it. And it keeps dumping the heat into these batteries, and I can't get rid of it. We have data that we've collected from every day this bus is run. We log the temperature, the percentage of battery charge when it gets back and we plug it in, how much kilowatts it uses, and I track how much solar that we collect, how much solar we use to help charge the bus, and I put all this data into a spreadsheet. And so I can tell, that's how I know what kind of efficiency we get. About 3.5 kilowatts to 4 kilowatts per mile in the cold weather. And that's anything probably -15 or colder. It doesn't change much after that. And then in the summertime, it's about 1.3 to 1.5 kilowatts per mile. There is some reality to this, that it's not all perfect, and we need, there's some really good stuff about it, but it isn't all good. To run this bus per month, average-wise, that's costing me $750 more to run this bus than a diesel bus per month. This is the ABB charger. It's a 22 kW charger. And that's about as much as I know of this thing. You plug it in, it does the job every time. It's worked flawlessly for us.
My name's Christoph Webb. I watched your guys' first episode on the Lightning that you're coming to Alaska. So I went down to the hardware store, bought a receptacle, and wired up the receptacle in my garage so these guys can get a little more juice and make it to Fairbanks.
Hey guys, it's that time in the video where we're going to take you with us by letting you hopefully get our little goodie box of stuff. Now, if you find this, please send us an email to ask@TFL-Truck with a picture of you wearing the t-shirt. There's a whole bunch of cool stuff in here so that we can let the community know that the Cold Foot stash has been found. So that's a hint. Let me show you another hint. It seems to be some kind of a trailhead that's in the general area that I just described. So I'm gonna go stash this, come on with me. And then if you're the first to get this goodie box of TFL goodies, should we make them go far into the forest? Sure, why not? Let's just keep going. I'm kind of curious what's back here myself. The answer might be bears. You know, there's a road over here. So let's cross the road. Another hint. Oh, look at that. That's another hint. Ah, I think I've spotted the perfect location. So there's a little berm here, another little trail. Berm here. And then there's a nice little aspen tree right here. Oh, a lot of bugs too, you're gonna have fun with that. So we're gonna put it behind this aspen tree in the crook of this tree right here. Hide it back here. I cover it up with some leaves. So there you have it. You're gonna have to work for it, but you saw me how I got here. So just watch the video, and not too far. And there seems to be a little, yeah, there's like a little lake over there. So look around, find the lake, come across the path, and just go down the hill. Get yourself the AMS to Alaska goodie box. Let's get out of here, it's raining. Shall we get the heck out of, I was gonna say Dodge, but it's,
Yeah.
what'd you call?
We had 100%?
No, we're at 90%, but we're gonna hit the road and we're gonna see how far we can go because he's itching to go, I'm itching to go.
Yeah.
It's already 2:31 in the afternoon. We gotta get up there hopefully before midnight.
We only spent 12 hours here, Roman.
No, we spent 14
I
hours.
mean, 14 hours.
14 and a half hours here.
Yeah.
Most of it's standing around.
And charging.
And charging, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. All right, let's hit the road. The truck says we've got 191 miles of range. I think it's doable. The important number is, oh, not that, of course. This is the important number. 90% battery.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Well,
think
and that one's important too.
yeah, but that one is just a guess. That's based on, you know, the last couple hundred miles of driving,
Right.
and that doesn't help us. I'm going to reset the trip again. Last time we were at 2 miles per kilowatt hour. So let's see if we can make it to Coldfoot, to Dead Horse on one charge.
I'm betting against us.
I'm betting for us.
Okay.
I'm going to say we're going to do
You
this.
want to put anything on your bet, buddy?
Yeah, let's put something on the bed. What do you want to do? I'll buy dinner?
Well, you always buy dinner, so it's not really. very much of a bet for
Let's
me.
get
But
another cunning plan that didn't work.
how about just bragging rights?
Sure.
Okay.
All right, bragging rights. So the plan, David, is like we did in the last segment, right? We're going to drive slow,
Yeah.
and we're going to try to get that mile per kilowatt hour above 2.0. The downside, and what's going to make it hard, is mud.
Yeah.
We're going over Adigan Pass, so we're going to have to climb, and that just kills our range. But then we get to go down.
Yeah, I say that's all good for my side of the bet.
Yeah, you're probably right about that.
Yeah, just because of the mountain.
The one constant on the Dalton Highway up here in Alaska is mud, and we swapped out our tires from the standard ones to these BFG Trail Terrain TAs, all terrains. And you know what? We lost about 10% range doing it, but now that I'm up here with all this mud and the road that's in all kinds of different conditions, I'm really happy that we actually have these all terrains, even though it means we have to drive slower. But you know what? It's better than crashing or getting stuck. As we're going up Adigan Pass, the highest point on this route, and oh, it's just killing our battery. It is killing our battery. I mean, you know, we were doing so well, and now the difference between how many miles we have in the battery and how many miles we have to go is something like 50. It's just killing it. I mean, this uphill section with all the extra weight is not good.
It reminds me of that song, though, Roman.
What's
What
that?
goes up must come down. Spinning wheels go around.
I mean, yeah, I'm going 20 miles an hour. It's sucking battery like, you know, it's a chocolate shake. And I'm just hoping that, you know,
The downhill side.
On the downhill side. And the other good news is that once you get down on the other side, we hit basically tundra and permafrost, and it's dead flat.
Oh, well, that'll be good for you.
That'll be good for me, but yeah, this pass
And
is,
the lightning.
and the lighting. This pass has really been a struggle. What do you think of the scenery here?
Well, it's snowing today. Look at the
41 degrees.
temperature, 41 degrees.
Yeah, welcome to Alaska.
This is cool right here.
All right, David, we made it. Top of Adigan Pass.
This is nuts. I love it up here.
It's a little bit Colorado-ish.
Makes me want to sing.
All right, let her rip.
Climb every mountain, ford every stream, follow every rainbow till you find your dream. How's that, Roman?
I think for the low cost of $3.99, you can have solid gold TFL hits as sung by David. All right, let's go. I'm feeling good about winning this bet. So when we started out, right, we were 50 miles apart. At the top of Adigan Pass, we were 60 miles apart from the battery range to the real range. Now, battery says we've got 88 miles,
Yep.
and the real range is 104.
Yeah.
So we're like 98, 14 miles apart now. It's coming together, dude.
I might have to sabotage this truck somehow to win this bet. But yeah, that's pretty impressive. We've been driving a lot of miles and we still have 42%.
Yeah, so we've driven 136 miles. Now we're averaging 2.2 miles per kilowatt hour. But keep in mind, we've been steadily dropping. And I've been actually averaging about 40 miles an hour, so I've actually sped up.
Yeah, but it's a lot of flat road.
It's a lot of flat road.
It might be slightly downhill, but a lot of flat. So,
Yeah, so-
kind of the best of all circumstances here.
Oh,
Roman, look,
yaks!
muskox.
Oh,
They're not
that's
yaks.
Oh, you
don't,
do yaks.
Don't insult my yaks like that.
That's a muskox. How
A
cool.
muskox.
Our first animal sighting. Look at that. Now, for those of you guys who are watching this and don't know, David's a yak farmer. But yaks also live like in Mongolia, right? They also live in very cold environments.
The Himalayas up at 14,000 feet.
Yeah. So, how much you know about yaks and how much you know about muskox? What's the difference?
I think they're both bovine.
Okay.
Yeah, they probably have the same kind of stomach structure. They both have a hump, like a buffalo, like a regular bison. They, have hoofed feet, and they probably eat the same diet.
Yeah, I mean, I know yaks, well, you told me this, are very lean.
Yeah, very lean.
I wonder if muskox are lean. And The word musk, though, I gotta say, kind of puts me off of trying to eat one of them.
Hey, we're at Happy Valley.
Yeah, what about it?
They got a restaurant right here.
You got a restaurant.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's hardly any civilization anywhere around here, but there's a restaurant.
It's 7:30. Are you up for dinner? Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah,
All right, yeah, let's.
you're always buying. I mean, I would eat all day long.
All right, well, let's stop. Happy Valley, huh?
Happy Valley.
I can't believe there's a restaurant up here.
My name is Kyle Benson. I own and operate Happy Valley Camp, located milepost 334 Dalton Highway.
And now you own Otis, Kyle.
Yeah, now I got Otis,
You
yeah.
just picked him up at the airport, didn't you?
Yeah, just got back 10 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago.
Look at what a nice dog he is. He's such a chill dog. So tell me, what do you guys do here at the camp?
So I house and cater and fuel helicopters. Got the only water well from here to Fairbanks.
Really? There you go. He's your dog, so he's your guy. I don't want to monopolize your dog. and you're 23 and you own this camp.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got your food.
Nice snack, dude.
Why'd you decide to buy a camp up here?
I just love the outdoors
Yeah.
and aviation. I've got a 5,000 foot runway.
Nice.
And airplanes coming in and out of here all the time, helicopters, and I like helping people.
Is there a website somebody can visit?
In process.
Okay, all right. So we know it's called Happy Valley Camp,
Yeah,
right? And it's at mile marker
34.
334. So if you guys are up here on Dalton Highway and you want to stop by and say hi to Otis,
Yeah.
I'm sure you'd be happy to have visitors.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you've got some excellent food. And of course, how many cabins do you have?
I've got 40 rooms.
40 rooms, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So how much does it cost to stay a night here?
$350.
Yeah, I figured it's not going to be cheap.
Yeah.
Because your choice is here or the tundra.
Yeah. Yeah. The bears and the mosquitoes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of those.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, there
well,
is.
well, I want to thank you for feeding us. I want to thank you
Yeah.
for giving us a little place to stop for a quick meal.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, come on out. It's the cool thing about being up here is everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
Because you have to, and people are really nice,
We are.
and dogs are too.
Especially when you need help. Nobody wants to help the guy that's mean.
Yeah, exactly. And if you need help up here.
You really do.
Yeah, exactly.
When it's 50 below or whatever the weather may be.
David, that's impressive. 23-year-old kid to buy a camp like this, huh?
And he's an aircraft mechanic as
yeah,
well.
I know.
Yeah.
There's a spirit in Alaska, you know?
No doubt.
People here have that kind of can-do.
Yeah, you got to admire him for wanting to take on something like this. And he knew what he was getting because he's worked here for 5 years. But it's pretty impressive.
All right, well, let's see what the battery scoop is. We got 80 miles to go, according to him. And so let's see how much battery range we have. We have 36%. 75 miles of range.
Yeah,
It's going to be a nail biter.
it will be.
All
I
right.
still think I'm going to win the bet.
You might, but he said the road is paved, which will help me.
It will help you.
All right, now let's hit the road. I just turned the truck off. All right, let's hit the road.
Let's hit the road.
Cut, edit. Let's do that one again. I can't look at this. It drives me. It's like watching a teapot boil, waiting for it to go down to empty.
Drive easy.
I can't do that.
What do you think you're going to lose?
No, it just stresses me out to see those. You don't want to watch that. I'm pretending. I'm hoping that even when you get to zero, there's still some buffer there. You know what I mean?
There's got to be a little bit left in the battery.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like when the tank's on empty, you've always got a couple gallons left.
I've killed 5,000 mosquitoes already.
You must smell good.
Yeah, they like me.
Yeah.
They do like me. 2.2.
It's going up.
It's going up, yeah, miles per kilowatt hour. We're only 73 miles of range, 81 miles to our destination, so we're only 8 miles apart now. Once those numbers match, I've won this bet, I think.
I'll concede,
All right, fair enough.
but not till we get there.
All right, fair enough. David, what is up with this? The road gets nice, and there are cars all over the place in ditches. How do people just go crazy?
Yeah, makes
Oh,
sense.
look, he's got for sale on it.
You can get that for $67.99 in its current shape. That's a bargain.
No low ballers. That's all you. No low ballers. What do you think? A pristine, gently rolled Durango with no windows that's been sitting in the permafrost for a few years, but no low ballers?
I think they have a good sense of humor up here.
I think they do, yeah. Or maybe, the Alaska tax has gotten to the brain. No low ballers. Give me a break.
Okay, Roman, you won the bet.
Yeah, so what did we bet? I thought it was something like $150,000.
No, it was dinner, but you pay for dinner anyway, so
What I do want to find out is how much power we have left. So let's do settings. Let's do charge. 7%.
7%.
Wow, that's the lowest we've got in this truck too.
Well, it's still a lot of miles, though. I mean, at 2.2, that means we still have, 16, 18 miles?
Yeah. Well,
So-
yeah, 12 miles of range left. But you know what? You know what the main thing is?
What?
We're the first, as far as we know,
Yeah.
to drive an electric truck, not a car, because people have been up here in
Yeah,
electric cars,
right.
but an electric truck to the furthest, most northern drivable point in the U.S. And I think, David, that deserves a high five.
Well, what's even more amazing is we put 1,300 pounds of camper and gear in the back of this thing, and we did it.
Yeah, and there are going to be people like, oh, electricity sucks. I can already see the comments, you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah, it has its downside. I mean, we spent 14 hours charging last
We're
night.
going to spend 14 hours charging
Actually,
tonight.
Yeah. I mean, we're just
If we're
sitting there
lucky.
doing nothing for 14 hours, right? But yeah, it's got a downside, but it has lots of upside.
Yeah, look, the ride is incredible. It's super quiet. It's cheap to fill up. In fact, last night we paid that much to fill up.
Yeah,
right?
they
In
were-
Alaska, where everything is over the top.
Right.
And best of all, David, we've gotten to meet some really great people along the route.
Yeah, it has been fun to talk to so many folks that,
Yeah.
that know the channel, but even those that don't, they're just interested in an electric truck.
With adversity also comes adventure.
Yeah.
And with adventure comes reward. And this has been really rewarding. But this is not all.
What? What's
Because-
left?
Well, we yet have to actually get to the ocean, and then we have to get back. Which is
Oh,
gonna
we got to go home?
be, is gonna be just
I
as
thought we
cha-
got to get on a boat and travel the seas.
No, that's going to be just as challenging.
Oh.
So that's coming up in the next episode of this great adventure of ours. But let's go find folks here who are letting us use their charger. And keep in mind, it is 10:30 at night, even though it doesn't look like it.
They already went home.
They already went home. They're closed, but they left a power outlet for us so we can plug in and actually charge the truck. How nice is that?
Yeah, that's awesome that people love to come along with our journey and share it with us and be part of it. We love it.
Yeah, and then tomorrow we won't show you the majestic beauty that is Dead Horse, or as you say,
Yeah.
Deadfoot.
Deadfoot. Or a
Prudhoe
cold
Bay.
horse.
Cold Horse. But we'll show that to you in the next episode.
Yeah, here we come, right into Prudhoe Bay, people.
That's stunning. Yeah, stunning. So in the last episode, we made it up here to Dead Horse, Prudhoe Bay. We were super happy because we made it. But now we're trying to find a place to charge.
Yeah.
Once again, it's 11 o'clock at night.
Yep.
We're driving around trying to find some outlets that will let us charge at a fairly high rate so that we can actually make the trip back home to, well, we're going all the way to Anchorage.
Yeah.
And once again, this is, the new frontier, and it ain't easy.